violate
Yeah.
the Constitution. But how would you justify the fact that since 1989, there were already unprogrammed funds in the budget then?
Wala nagko-question kasi noong mga nakaraan.
During the time
during
of
the
the
Pinoy,
late President Cory Aquino.
Yes, 1989 na nagsimula yung program funds. Maliliit lang yan at hindi nagagamit ng masama. Hindi katulad ng 19 Congress, diyan nagsimula na yung pinakamasamang paggamit ng unprogrammed funds.
Now, you are preparing a petition to bring before the Supreme Court. You want to question the constitutionality of unprogrammed appropriations, which for the 2026 budget have ballooned to 243 billion pesos. The President vetoes 92 billion. May natira pa
151,
na
almost.
151 billion pesos. All right. Illegal ba talaga ang unprogrammed appropriation?
Yes, we are set to file tomorrow. I and Representative Laila De Lima, and we are citing 5 provisions of the Constitution that that's being violated by the unprogrammed funds. And
Okay.
this is Article 7, Section 2,
Alright.
22. Dapat kasi yung budget for expenditures may katapat na source of financing. Ito walang katapat. So, yan, violation yan ng Article 7, Section 22, Article 6, Section 25, Article 6, Section 24.
Ipaliwanag mo briefly ano
Yes.
ang violations sa
Ito,
iba.
minamandate nito, dapat talaga may certification ng National Treasury na meron talagang pondo para dun sa proyekto. Ito wala.
Okay.
Kasi lahat ito, sinasabi nila there are only 3 sources of unprogrammed funds. Lahat ito is speculative. One is loan, 2 is savings, medyo matagal pa yan.
And excess earnings.
Yung new taxes. New
Revenues.
taxes. Pero kasi lahat naman yung naka-incorporate na yan, yung sa 6.7.9 trillion na budget, lahat yan may source of financing. Ito wala. Yun ang maliwanag na maliwanag. At ang masama, yung 6.7 trillion na yan, actually, 1.6 trillion yan uutangin din. Tapos magdadagdag pa sila ng additional 151 billion na wala namang talagang source of financing.
Okay, pero linawin natin. So there are 5 articles in the Constitution that actually make it clear
Yes.
for you that unprogrammed appropriations violate
Yeah.
the Constitution. But how would you justify the fact that since 1989, there were already unprogrammed funds in the budget then?
Wala nagko-question kasi noong mga nakaraan.
During the time of the
Pinoy,
late President Cory Aquino.
Yes, 1989 na nagsimula yung unprogrammed funds. Maliliit lang yan at hindi nagagamit ng masama. Hindi katulad ng 19 Congress, diyan nagsimula na yung pinakamasamang paggamit ng unprogrammed funds. Kasi
Paano ang pinakamasama? Ilarawan
ang modus operandi nila, for example, ito yung National Expenditures Program. Nakalagay dyan lahat ng mga priority ng presidente. Ang gagawin nila, ilalagay nila yung mga priority na yan sa unprogrammed funds. Noong 2024, 2025, parang ang nangyari, yung insertions nila sa diversion parang 1.45 trillion in 3 years. At ang pinakamalaki doon, yung sa foreign assisted projects, yung dapat na equity natin, dapat kontrata natin yan sa mga foreign governments. Dapat meron tayong equity doon sa mga flagship projects like yung ating subway, yung PNR Elevated Rail. Ginawa nila, yung 399 billion na yan, inilagay nila sa unprogrammed funds.
And yung 399 billion
Pinalitan nila
pesos
ng mga
na
flood
yun,
control.
I was gonna say first, yung 399 billion pesos that was part of the flagship projects.
Yes.
Yun yung subway, ano pa yung iba?
Yung PNR Elevated, at marami pang
Basta
iba.
technically speaking, transport.
Yeah.
It could have been build more.
More, yes.
Diba? Pero nilipat sa unprogrammed.
Tapos pinalitan nila ng mga priority projects ng mga politiko.
Oo. Flood control
Flood
projects.
control, yung mga street lights,
Yes,
yung mga
yes,
malalaki
yes.
ang kickback.
Oo.
Doon nila nilagay.
But why would the president allow that? He will not benefit. That's what I don't understand.
Hindi ko rin maintindihan. Kasi
Why
nga,
would he make his flagship projects suffer? Why?
Lagi ko nga tinatanong yan kay Presidente, ikaw nagbulgar nitong anomalya, pero bakit mo pinayagan in 3 years?
Tinanong mo personally.
Tinanong ko sa aking privilege speech,
Okay.
pero hindi naman sinasagot. Ilang beses ko na tinatanong sa maraming programs. Sabi ko, 2023, 280 billion yung tinanggal sa budget niya. Pinalitan ng mga kalokohan. Hindi siya kumibo. Yung kabinete niya, hindi kumibo. Parang kasabot pa. Tapos nung 2024, 500 plus billion, di pa nga na-check yung mga ibang project.
Yeah.
Inilagay uli sa mga ganitong kalokohang project, hindi siya kumibo. Yung kabinete niya, hindi niya kumibo. Tapos 2025, 473 billion. So, bakit nangyari ito na hindi niya pwedeng sabihin hindi niya alam eh. It's his duty, it's his responsibility to know this.
But I think the big question is why would he allow it? When this is his administration, it's his legacy.
Hindi, yun nga ang yun ang malaking question.
But what are you
Question.
saying? Because you are in the House. You know the politics in the House.
Well, kasi hindi naman unprecedented to eh. Unprecedented to, 19 Congress. Wala naman ako ng 19 Congress. Nung mga nakaraang Kongreso, hindi naman maliit lang yung mga insertions, yung mga diversions, unprecedented yung in 3 years, 1.45 trillion. Ibig sabihin niya, pinalitan mo yung president's budget. Naging congressional budget niyan. At ang masama, inallow ng executive department.
And why is that? Is it to win over legislators
Well, ang
in the
tingin
lower
ko,
house? What are you saying?
Tingin ko, ginamit ito to incentivize members of Congress to impeach BP Sara. Isa yon. Pangalawa, siguro, because of the 2025 national and local elections. Nakita naman natin na bumaha ng mga ayuda, bumaha ng mga proyekto, basta administration candidate ka, talagang daming pera, ang daming resources. So yun nangyari na inuna yung politika kaysa yung pagunlad ng bansa natin.
And they've been describing this, Senate President Tito Soto said, this is the cleanest. This is the cleanest budget. Do you agree with that?
Well, it's a lot better than the three previous budgets, noong 23 hanggang 25. Kasi may malakas na minority sa House, may malakas na minority sa Senate, so na-scrutinize talaga yung budget. Pero mas madali na siguro yung mga pinalusot, mas madali nang ma-check yan sa Congressional Oversight Committee. So, kaya nga sabi ko, maayos na to. Kung meron man kami mga policy differences, syempre, it's the rule of the majority pagdating sa policy ng paggastos ng...
But did you sign the budget?
No, I voted against.
Oh, you voted against
because of the
it.
unprogrammed funds.
Okay, all right. So let's talk about the unprogrammed funds. The president vetoed 92 billion pesos and they left the support to foreign assisted projects.
Yes.
So for the audience, the foreign assisted projects, para lang kompleto, no? It would be, for example, let's say JICA. No,
Yes.
there would let's say may ipapatay yung tulay or a big infra project. Let's say JICA is supporting it, the Philippines has to have a counterpart. Yun yung nawala nung 2025.
2024 and 2025.
Pati 24.
Yes, 157 billion in 2025 and more than 200 billion in 2024. Ang total niya, 399 billion.
Okay. So my question is, why would the president allow that support to foreign assisted projects be in unprogrammed when pwede namang pondohan na yan ng Pilipinas para meron siyang legacy, nakatayo yung mga proyekto? Why would you put it in unprogrammed?
Ayun nga, hindi ko maintindihan sa Pangulo dahil mandatory obligation natin yan sa foreign governments. Kaya nga, nung nilagay nila sa unprogrammed funds, na-delay yung pagbabayad. Kaya ano nangyari? Nagbayad tayo ng commitment fees at least 20% ng project cost ang in-increase. Tapos na-delay pa ng 4 years. Yung opportunity lost. For example, subway, dapat yan, 2028, nakasakay na tayo sa subway. Ngayon, 2032. Yung PNR Elevated Railway dapat ma-operational by 2029, ngayon sa 2032. At ang total cost niyan, 1.3 trillion, yung dalawang project. So, mag-i-increase ng mga 300 billion. Dahil sa mga penalties,
In
dahil
terms
sa
of interest, no, the penalties.
escalation of prices, ng labor and material. So, ang nangyari, nasayang yung 300 billion. Di ba? Di ba napakalaking kagaguhan yun? Nasasayangin mo yung 300 billion dahil ilalagay mo lang sa flood control.
Oo.
Tapos, yung 300 billion, siguro matatapos natin sa 300 billion, baka wala na tayong backlog sa classroom.
Pero ang tanong ko, kung nangyari na ang pagkakamaling yun, noong 2024 at 2025, bakit pa nila uulitin at i-unprogram
Hindi, kasi
ulit
ito,
ang foreign assisted
ang
projects?
reasoning nila dito, meron daw mga hindi pa na-submit na documents for these flagship projects. Kaya hindi pa talaga kaya pwedeng pondohan. Yun ang sinasabi nila. Ngayon, for convenience, nilalagay na nila. Pero hindi pa nga hindi pa nga ibig sabihin, hindi na-discuss sa Kongreso kung ano yung proyekto na ito dahil kulang pa nga sa mga documents. Kasi ang ginagawa nila, mula pa naman noon, for convenience sake, binabiolate nila yung Constitution. Simula noong 1989. Pero ito, ang pinakamasama, kaya kailangan na natin tuldukan ito dahil nagamit na talaga na para magnakaw. Ginamit na to para magnakaw. So Representative De Lima and I are citing 5 provisions of the Constitution and we are set to file it tomorrow.
Okay.
Para once and for all, ma-decision na ng...
Actually, you've read 2 of them. Do you want to continue with
Yes,
the
yung
other 3?
Article 6, Section 24 and 25, which limit Congress power of appropriation and preserve the constitutional separation between legislative appropriation and executive execution by restricting Congress from increasing the President's budget recommendation. Kasi ang ginagawa, di ba, kung ano yung sinabmit ng Presidente, 6.7 trillion, hindi na kami pwedeng sumobra doon.
Actually, close to 6.8.
So, 6.79. Parang
so,
ganun.
6.8, roughly.
6.8. So, ang ginagawa nga, para hindi lumampas yung gusto ng Kongreso, papalitan nila yung mga ilalagay nila sa unprogrammed funds. So, pero ito, pangako
Kumbaga,
lang
ang
ito.
nangyari, kung sa budget po sa bahay, yung pambili ng bigas, ginawa nyo, pinambili nyo ng bag. Parang ganon. Walang bigas ngayon, bumili kayo ngayon ng sapatos o bag.
Saka itong unprogrammed, parang pangako. For example, dapat mandatory obligation yung share ng mga local government sa national taxes. So ilalagay nila dyan sa unprogrammed funds. So mabibigay lang yun pag meron ng additional revenue. Kung wala, hindi mabibigay. Pangako. Ngayon, tinanggal ni Presidente, pati pangako, wala na. So ibig sabihin, susubain na ng national government yung mga local government share.
But then that's against the law. I mean, that's clear.
Kaya nga, nagagawa nila ng paraan through unprogrammed funds. Kaya nga, sabi ko, dapat talaga na matuldukan na to, ma-define na to ng... At I am very confident with the Supreme Court kasi nabasa ko yung decision yung separate opinion ni Justice Hernando sa PhilHealth issue. At sinabi niya na all forms of unprogrammed funds are unconstitutional.
Sinabi niya yun. So you are feeling optimistic. Can we show this to the audience?
Yes.
So this is the actual petition already.
Special civil action for certiorari and prohibition.
So this is what you're taking to the Supreme Court tomorrow?
Yes.
Okay, this is the actual petition already. It's finished. Okay, so meron ka pa dito na the 3 Article 6, Section 25 prohibits riders.
Kasi,
do you consider the unprogrammed appropriation a rider?
Yes.
Okay. Article 6, Section 29 restricts the disbursement of public funds strictly to constitutionality valid appropriations. So, yung paniniwala mo, ang unprogrammed appropriations is not valid appropriations.
It's not valid kasi walang source of financing.
So I want to move now to what's interesting with the budget is it's been described as pork-riddled, right? Ang daming ayuda. Tumaas pa ang ayuda sa budget na to. Okay? So you have AIX now at close to 64 billion, Medical Assistance Fund at close to 52 billion, TUPAD at 22.4 billion. When you were there and this was, I guess, being brought to the lower house, because you weren't in the BICAM.
No, no.
Oo. Why? What is the intention of legislators?
Well,
Pwede namang ilagay na lang to sa ahensya, ilagay sa PhilHealth, ilagay sa DSWD.
yung IX, I would subscribe na for hindi naman dapat ganyang kalaki. Pero talaga nakakatulong to
Okay.
sa mga
Oo.
lalo na dun sa mga nasa extreme poverty level. Ang hirap kasi pumunta sa national government, ang haba ng bureaucracy. Yung immediate need ang problema. Kaya nga ang
So
mangyayari...
why not expand the 4Ps?
Well, ganun din. Matagal din yung Yung, kasi to, IX in crisis situation. So,
Okay.
immediate.
Okay, alright.
So, 2,000, 3,000 pesos, 5,000 pesos, mabilis na mabibigay ng DSWD. At makikita mo naman, na talagang maraming nakakailangan kasi sa DSWD offices, makikita mo 6 p.m. nakapila na yung tao for an 8 a.m. appointment dahil sa haba ng pila. So may need.
But do
Kasi
you
walang absorptive capacity ang DSWD para ma-reach lahat ng nangangailangan. Unlike kami, mga congressman kami, meron kaming direct connection sa mga tao.
Yeah.
So, tinulungan kami ng eleksyon. Ang iniisip nila, pag panahon ng kagipitan nila, pwede silang
But
lumapit
that
sa amin.
reeks of patronage politics right
Well,
there. That
well,
is patronage politics.
Nasa tao yun. For example, ako, ang ginagawa ko para yung IX, for example, may allocation for IX, lahat ng mga applicants, pinapupunta ko dun sa opisina, pinapupunta ko yung mga social worker ng DSWD. Bahala na kayo yan, hindi ako nagsasalita, wala akong sinasabi. Kasi kinikriticize ko, pero nakikita ko, may need talaga yung mga tao.
But then, President Marcos Jr. said that he wants to make sure that all forms of aid will not go through politicians or politicians will not have a role. Hearing you now, considering you are critical of the budget, it doesn't seem possible. Senator Amy Marcos says it's not possible. Politicians will always have a say in how aid
for example,
is given.
yung guarantee letter, wala naman talaga kaming ini-issue na guarantee letter. We're just writing the DOH to provide guarantee letters to our constitution.
Constituents.
To our constituents. And to for example, mayor, pwede na siya sumulat. Konsyal, pwede na siya sumulat. Yung ordinary citizen, pwede sumulat na humingi ng GL. Pero syempre, yung mga tao, pag sinabi, congressman yan, sumulat, mas may weight.
Pero do you believe na magiging politician-free ito? Yung totoo?
I don't think so. Kasi mahirap, wala namang absorptive capacity yung national government to reach out to the masa, di ba? Wala naman silang absorptive capacity. So they will need a parang medium para makarating doon sa masa. At kung sasabihin mo naman local government, politicians din yun.
Senator,
And even, halimbawa sa DSW, Secretary Gatchalian is a politician, di ba? So, the President is, nagbibigay din siya. She is a politician. He's using government funds to, magbibigay siya ng pamaskong handog, di ba?
But then, Representative, there must be another way to make the institutions work. Ang tanong ko, for example, there's the Universal Healthcare Law, right?
Yes.
Why not fund that, for example, and instead of MAIF, make the Universal Healthcare Law accessible, put funds there, right? Bakit ganon? Bakit kailangan na nakaayuda na dadaan sa congressman at politiko?
Well, sabi ko nga, immediate Pagdating sa PhilHealth, for example,
But there are other countries that don't do this. This is not the way other countries support.
yes, siguro yung perfect yung mechanism nila sa atin, yung political system natin talaga namang talagang patriarchal lang Pilipino.
Patronage, yeah.
Patronage talagang otherwise kung yung mga halimbawa ako ordinary congressman na wala naman akong ganong resources yung mga magagaling na walang ganong resources, hindi naman nanalo kung wala silang way of helping back to the people who voted them, di ba? Di naman nanalo na lang yung mga kapatid, mga anak ng mga political dynasties. Ang mananalo na lang yung mga bilyonaryo, di ba? So, paano?
So you believe this is necessary?
This is necessary,
Okay,
pero dapat
but-
limited.
Yeah.
At dapat may strict parameters. Kasi noong nakaraan, nung yung mga akap, nakita ko, hindi nakakarating sa tao, hinahati ng mga barangay,
ng politiko.
officials, ng mga politiko.
Oo.
So,
Okay. Now, Senator Amy Marcos describes this budget considering na lumaki ang ayuda. She says it's reminiscent of an election budget. Ganun ba yun?
palagay ko, the president is trying to appease his allies in Congress.
And a piece for what? Is it because of a supposed schedule? I mean, Senator Amy Marcos was talking about a supposed schedule, February, to refile the impeachment complaint against Vice President Sara Duterte.
Well, siguro, pero lalong magugulo yung bansa natin kung we'll go to impeachment.
But where does the minority stand? I mean, you do have
Hindi, iba-iba kami ng
yeah.
iba-iba kami ng positions, pero ako, ang sabi ko nga parang inconsistent if I will be joining the impeachment complaint against BP Sara kasi she was accused of embezzling 125 million and 500 million in the DepEd as against 1 trillion. So parang kung buti pa impeach na lang natin pareho para fair.
I don't think that's possible, seriously speaking. So are you saying you will not support the impeachment of Vice President Sara Duterte?
No, I will not sign that kasi nga nakita ko na-incentivize yung mga United Congress para mag-impeach sa kanya.
So paano yun? By saying this right now on the head start, baka wala ka ng pondo na ilabas sa'yo.
Ay, okay lang yan. Talagang ganyan.
Does it really happen?
Well, alam mo, tagal ko na sa politics, 50 years eh. So, this is my, siguro mga last days in politics. So, gawin ko na lang yung tama na sa tingin ko.
No, but has that happened to you, for example?
Yes, during the time of Duterte, I was the first one who spoke against the war on drugs. So, for 1 year, tinanggal yung pondo ng distrito ko.
Oo.
Pero I never talked to them.
Okay. All right. Now I want to ask you about the DPWH budget. So the DPWH budget has been significantly reduced.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
But reports have it that in the end, 2/3 of it still went to allocables.
Well, importante rin talaga. Yung allocables nga, yun ang mali kasi hindi equitable yung distribution eh. Not on the need, not on, for example, walang basis eh. Ano ba ang basis niyan? Population, land area, yung economic status ng lugar. Walang ganun eh. Basta ang nangyayari na lang, nagkakaroon ng mga submission sa DPWH ang bawat district engineering offices. Tapos, it's the DPWH who decides kung ano-anong mga projects yung ilalagay sa bawat distrito. At tingin ko mali yun. Mali yung dapat talaga may parameters in allocating funds on the basis of need, on the basis of population, the basis of land area.
Because the problem now, so there is no flood control in this budget. Although meron pang MOOE apparently, there's 2.5 billion for existing project maintenance.
Pero alam mo, yung mali yun. Tingin ko,
Yeah.
ano yun eh, knee-jerk decision ng presidente yung pag-aalis ng flood control. Kaya by June, July, mararamdaman ng mga tao yung lalong matinding pagbaha. So, sisisihin uli ang presidente. Bakit mo tinanggal yung flood control? Ang sabi, meron pa raw flood control project na na-hold nung 2025. Yan nga yung mga kalokohang project eh. So, dapat siguro, isa-isahin kung ano yung matino, yun yung i-implement. Yung hindi matino, yun ang tanggalin.
Now, the unprogrammed appropriations, no, what would happen if, for example, the Supreme Court sided with your petition and they issue a TRO, what can happen to the 2026
No,
budget?
yung on-program funds lang.
Oo, yun lang yun.
Hindi naman yung ano.
So
hindi naman the
technically,
whole-
services will not be
No,
affected.
no.
But
The whole budget will not be affected. Only the unprogrammed funds.
can the Supreme Court just make an outright decision and say,
Well, we have a prayer for a temporary restraining order para hindi mo na gamitin yung unprogrammed funds.
hindi, iba yung hindi mo na gamitin, iba yung hindi na kayo pwede maglagay. Pwede ba is that part of your
No,
petition?
ano pa lang naman yung for the 2026 budget para hindi magamit yung unprogrammed
Oo.
funds. Humihingi kami ng a restraining order.
Yun lang.
Pero eventually syempre ang gusto namin mag-decide na talaga ang Supreme Court. Not just for 2026 but for the next years.
Yeah, but is the Supreme Court decision actually, I mean, while it is binding and it becomes the law of the land, is it really respected and followed when making the budget? I'll give you an example. The PDAF. It was so clear, the Supreme Court's decision on the PDAF, and yet we still see it using
Hindi.
another
Yes, but at in this case, maliwanag naman to na pagka nag-decide in favor sa petition namin ang Supreme Court, all budget of expenditures magkakaroon ng definite source of financing.
Yun
Kaya
ang gusto nyo.
Yun ang gusto nyo.
Oo. Pero, pag nag-decide, pwede pa rin may unprogrammed appropriations
Wala na.
na rider. Dapat matanggal yun.
Wala na. Pag nag-decide ng Supreme Court, wala na. At ang tataka nga ako kay Presidente, kung tinanggal niya na yan, di wala nang issue.
Lahat, no?
Lahat.
Pero, ang problem,
Yung
paano tong
mga
ano?
pork na
Hindi,
sinasabi na yan,
hindi-
policy issue yan ng Presidente.
Hindi, kaso paano niya tatanggalin yung support to foreign assisted projects? Imbis na
Ang sinabi
po
niya
doon.
naman, hindi pa naman final eh. So, he can always ask for a supplemental budget kung ready na yung proyekto. Ang sinasabi ni Senator Sherwin, matagal daw, super majority ang madali lang yan. Pwede niya pang i-certify yan kung na urgent eh. Basta may supplemental budget na request ang nagagawa na yan noon eh. Noong panahon ni Pinoy, natandaan ko na sinertify niya yung isang budget of expenditures na meron ng source of financing. So, kumuha kami ng supplemental budget na approve naman kagad.
Okay, looking at the budget on its face, what legacy is the administration leaving? Kasi during Duterte's time, removing the whole EJK, the drug war, I remember, it was really setting aside the biggest in terms of GDP to infrastructure. And they built it. They
Yes,
started building, and even they started opening, finishing projects that were started by the late President Noynoy Aquino.
Well, I think malaki talaga ang problema ng bansa natin kasi yung nireduce yung yung budget ng DPWH.
Yeah.
Yan yung pinakamalaking source ng public spending.
Oo.
So, tapos hinigpitan yung pagkatapos bukod dyan, binabaan yung presyo across the board. Yung iba dyan, baka hindi realistic. Hindi natin alam kasi hanggang ngayon nga, usually mga November, December, nagbibidding na for the following year. Ngayon, January na, wala pang announcement kung anong rules ngayon ng bidding.
Yeah.
So, baka makapag-bid yan, February, March. So, yung public spending for the first quarter talagang bababa. So, yung GDP natin, ang forecast ng mga experts, baka swerte ng maka 3% by first quarter.
And would this be lower than COVID?
Maybe. Kasi maski yung mga contractors, takot nang mag-bid. Sabi nila, hinto muna kami, hindi maliwanag yung rules of the game. So, hinto muna kami. Kaya nakita natin pati yung retail nung Pasko, di ba? Bagsak ang retail. Ang sinasabi sa akin ng mga negosyante, bagsak sila by as much as 50%.
Yeah.
So, hindi ko alam kung ano ang magagawa pa ng administrasyon except siguro yung pagbibigay na ng ayuda. Yun na lang siguro.
But ang pagbibigay ng ayuda, do you see that as actually growing the economy?
Well, siguro, public spending. Public spending, di ba? Yun pa rin. Yun ang may bibigay nun. Magkakaroon ng pambili yung mga tao.
Okay, all right. I think at the end of the day, you are going to the Supreme Court tomorrow.
Yes.
And anything you'd like to add? Wait, will Speaker Boji D first? Is he going to retain his position? Because there were talks of Ronnie Puno possibly becoming the next speaker.
I don't think that the president, that it will be a wise decision for the president to replace Boji D. Napaka-loyal na tao sa kanya yan. Walang agenda yan. Saka, matagal ko nang kilala si Boji. Kung ano yung sabihin niya, yun nasa isip niya. Wala nang iba.
Why? The danger would be?
Hindi natin alam kasi I respect Congressman Puno, pero it's been there for so long, very kasama siya sa mga power plays. So unlike Boji D, talagang local guy yan eh.
Well, I want to ask you, where is former House Speaker Martin Romualdez? Does he go to work?
Hindi ko nakikita.
Okay. And also his wife, do they go to work?
Hindi ko nakikita.
Okay. What happens if a legislator doesn't show up and go to work? I mean, this is the same question with Bato de la Rosa, right?
Marami naman ako hindi nakikita.
This is... And, are there rules at least?
Hindi, baka naman nasa opisina nila. O
kung sa trabaho, bawal ang absent ka ng absent.
Baka naman hindi ko lang napapansin. Gano'n.
But are there rules at the very least?
Wala naman. Except siguro kung mag-abroad ka ng matagal. Gano'n.
No, you need to ask
yes.
Permission.
Hindi ko I will not name names. I will not, kasi matagal na ako sa Kongreso. Meron akong mga dating colleagues. Nakikita ko lang pag SONA. Tapos makikita ko ulit sa susunod na SONA.
Oh gosh, this is depressing on so many levels. Okay, all right, last words, Representative Erice, anything you want to add? I think on a more important note is, I think for the president.
Yes, we are pushing for reforms.
Yeah.
And this is one way of pushing for reform. Tanggalin na natin yung unprogrammed funds. Pero marami pa dapat gawin ng presidente. Siguro kapalit ng mga nangyaring kalokohan. Dapat talaga maging seryoso ang presidente dun sa mga sinabi niya na priority niya, yung anti-political dynasty law, yung sa party list reform, yung ICI dapat talaga. We cannot, kilala ko si Ombudsman Boying Rimulya, but he is too close to Malacanang para pagtiwalaan.
So you want the ICI to stay?
Yes. Kaya may batas kami, mayroon kami proposed
But
bill.
they're wrapping that up.
Kasi sinabi ni Presidente na priority niya. So binilisan namin, nakapasa na to sa second readings, sa committee level.
Yeah.
So it's up to Congress para madala na sa plenary para maipasa namin. So yan yung mga dapat na maging seryoso yung Pangulo doon sa mga sinasabi niya. Kasi doon sa mga sinasabi niya, parang wala pang natutupad. ICI, wala pa yan. Anti-political dynasty, yung final ni Congressman Santro, pro-political dynasty, pwede 10 kada pamilya. So, tapos yung party list reform, tapos yung sinabi niya, meron siya mga papakulong, wala naman nakulong. So, ang dami niyang sinasabi na hindi natutupad. So, lalong bumababa yung trust ng mamamayan sa kanya. At nalulungkot ako doon. Bakit? Kasi habang bumabagsak yung trust ng tao sa kanya, bumabagsak yung ekonomiya natin. At habang bumabagsak yung ekonomiya natin, maraming kawawa. Kasi ako, basa yung pa ako eh. Ibig sabihin, nandun ako sa masa eh. Ramdam ko yung kinakasaglakan nila at mga pagdurusan nila eh. So, kaya dapat iangat ni Presidente yung credibility niya, yung tiwala ng mamamayan sa kanya dahil yun, malaking bagay yun para umangat yung ekonomiya.